Hello everyone, I am back to cover more D&D stuff. I would have done so yesterday, I would have done so the day they released, but I was already playing D&D. And then I just learned, right before we played, that they put out a new playtest. So, yeah, it seems to always happen that way with me, where every time they want to release another Underdark Con, it's like immediately as I'm supposed to, I'm doing something else. I can't immediately go make a video, so I have to make it a little later. But whatever, it's fine. It's fine. That's my promise, though, right? Every time new D&D stuff comes out, I'm here to cover it, because, guys, I want to. I like doing it. I like talking about D&D stuff. And in the meantime, I'm streaming games and doing whatever else. Doing my voice acting stuff and whatnot. But all that's neither here nor there. This time around, we have, it's not a big Underdark Arcana, Underdark Options. If I remember, this is Barbarian, Path of Unlight, the Rogue House Agent, the Wizard, I don't even know how to say this, I'm gonna be honest with you. Ismacritus? Ismarcanist? I don't know, man. That is a complicated word, and I failed the shit out of fucking grammar. That's what it's called. I failed the crap out of grammar whenever I was in. It was my worst subject in school. That's why I don't write essays and stuff. I just do everything off the top of my head. I don't write myself scripts when it comes to just reviewing stuff, because one, I just want it to be real, whatever comes to mind in the moment, and two, that's a pain in the ass. It's a pain in the ass to write a script, and so I only usually will write a script for the little tiny D&D shorts. Anyway, happy to see another Barbarian Underdark Arcana, subclass Underdark Arcana. We haven't been seeing a bunch of those, though I'm gonna be busy at the end of this year, because I got Arcana Unleashed to cover with those subclasses and the new spells and the new feats, and then in fucking November, I got the whole World of Warcraft book that they revealed to cover too, and that has even more subclasses and even more spells and even more other stuff, and technically it's official material. It's part of their new Universes Beyond stuff, but it's like official material, like you could use the other subclasses, and it contains updated subclass for like the swashbuckler and stuff, so it's wacky, but that's, like I said, distracting from what I'm actually here to talk about, which is these three subclasses that I have not looked up yet, and the new Path of Ceramorphosis, similar to the Path of the Lich and Path of the Death Knight feats, I think. That's what I think this means, that their new Path feat system. But so just to kind of preface, I did read this Unlight passage here. What is Unlight? Deep City of Ismaskar? I don't know. Descendant Empire, blah blah blah. Magical force known as Unlight, taught to them by Ismarcana, sentient grimoires penned by ancient wizard keys of lost Ismarkari Empire. Used Unlight to create Great Seal, magical symbol that protects and illuminates the city where nourishing crops and allow the deep Ismari to survive in the Underdark, but Unlight can also be used to corrupt and destroy burning creatures from within until they die, a fiery explosion of brilliant light. So, this entire little paragraph, actually, I don't think it even describes really what Unlight is at all. It is some magical force taught by sentient wizard books that is used to power a great seal, and that protects people, and also like allow light in the Underdark, but also you can use it to corrupt and destroy things and burn creatures. So like, is it me, or does it just not do a great job at telling me what the fuck Unlight is? Because I don't know. I have no clue. I tried to look it up. I didn't try very hard to look it up, to be fair with you. But I could not figure it out. But we'll figure it out. I'll read the little blurb paragraphs. Let's go. First up is Path of Unlight, Barbarian. Barbarians infuse with power of Unlight, embrace control of magic in exchange for incredible physical prowess. The Unlight burning inside them illuminates the darkness while burning and blinding the barbarians' enemies. Most barbarians on this path were first exposed to Unlight in the Underdark. Deep is my grant Unlight to chosen warriors who lead their army against the upper regions of the Underdark. And some of these soldiers have fled to pursue lives of their own, but magic of Unlight is contagious and spreads in unpredictable ways. It infects people only briefly exposed to it and occasionally manifests as individuals who have never been in the Underdark. So again, I don't know what Unlight is, other than it's light. It's light of some kind that is infectious. Sorta. It's a little strange. So, like, I'll get into I'll get into the class feature options, of course. But so far, my impression in terms of thematic is like we are. Like, it's just light. We're a barbarian with, like, an inner light of some kind. Burning, raging, blinding light. I don't know. It's a little strange. Unlight manifestation. Barbarians on the path of Unlight manifest radiant energy of Unlight when they rage, but this energy can take many forms. You can roll on one that shows a result from the Unlight manifestation table to inspire the form of your rage text. Give me some ideas. White light blazing from your eyes and mouth. Complex arcane symbols love light exchanging to your body. A cyclone of bright light that whirls around you. Cracks in your flesh that reveal burning light within. A ghostly form made of light that hovers above you. Pale fire that dances on the tip of your weapon. Huh. I don't know. I feel like I'm just, like, not getting something about the thematic. And obviously this is going to be for some, like, Underdark book that we might see in, like, I don't know, late 2027 or early 2028, maybe. So this playtest is going to be back for a while. We might not see this stuff for a while. But in terms of actual class features, and again, I have not seen these, so this is my off the cuff impression of this. Is level 3, we get Radiant Rage. The Unlight coursing through you refuels your rage. If a creature hits you with a melee attack while your rage is active, the creature takes radiant damage equal to your rage damage bonus. Additionally, while your rage is active, you should bright light in a 20-foot radius. Is that it? Yeah. I guess that's it for level 3. I mean, as a barbarian, you are essentially, barbarians can't do a good damage, but you're essentially a giant meat slab to protect your allies or to have things hit you. You have reckless attack, so people are encouraged to hit you, and you're also just going to be in the front line causing people issues if you're not addressed properly. But I'm gonna be honest. If I choose a subclass, and compare this to Totem Warrior, I get damage resistance to a lot of things except for the esoteric damage types. If I choose Berserker, I get an immediate damage boost, 2d6, right? Or d6 equal to my rage damage bonus on like one attack a round. Hey, sorry, you're seeing my character for something. Blah blah blah. But if we go like even World Tree, you're like a constant beacon of temporary hit points to everybody. Zealot, you get 2 features as Zealot actually. And this, I don't care about all of this stuff. I've owned a lot of third-party things, but If we're just sticking with the thing, like even frenzy, like unarmed damage, like if I choose a subclass and all I get when I get to my subclass level is I get to glow sometimes. I mean, there is one thing I could say for it. There is one thing. This isn't limited. You know, it just happens whenever you rage. And if a thing hits you with a melee attack roll, they're gonna take a whole 2 damage, then 3 damage, and eventually working up to 6 damage on every melee attack with you. Oh, it did say. Yeah, it's whenever they hit a melee attack roll. It doesn't say once per round or once per turn. So, you know, if a creature has a lot of attacks, they're gonna take a lot of radiant damage, I guess, in exchange. And right, we should bright light and 20-foot radius, so it's just not great, right? It's like not good because there's no, I mean, yeah, we glow, but there's nothing we use on offense, right? I mean, again, we go back to the other ones. I mean, Wild Heart gets 2 features. Bear is great. Eagle is good for mobility. Wolf helps your team and stuff. World Tree, you know, people don't like World Tree that much, but I like World Tree. I played a World Tree Barbarian, and having something to give a constant temporary hit points all the time, at least you feel like you're doing something, right? At least you feel like you're doing something, and then like Path of the Zealot, yeah, you get 2 features. You get a little extra damage, and you get some healing points to give people for like celestial magic and stuff like that. But this, all you get at level 3 is you glow whenever you rage. You glow in bright light for 20-foot radius. Hold on, actually, let me look something else up. You know, just in case I'm missing something. Bright light. I didn't know my caps lock was on, but, you know, that's fine. Yes, companion, bright light. Basically, bright light. Normal illumination. See, also playing the game. Exploration. Yeah. Bright lights, normally good, blah, yeah, okay. I'm not missing anything. I was double checking and if the 2024 rules had any additional effect for bright light or being within bright light, but it does not. It does not. So we just glow, and if something runs into melee with us, they take a tiny useless pretty much amount of radiant damage. So not great. Definitely not good, I would say. Compared to every other, like I would say even World Tree is better than this. Cuz at least you get a good temporary hit points, and then you can constantly give your allies temporary hit points through the fight, which buffs everybody. Or this is just, yeah, we glow. We glow. I mean, maybe this subclass would be helpful in an Underdark campaign, which, you know, considering it's the Underdark options subclasses, maybe that's like what we're getting at in a couple of years through some kind of book over the Underdark, which now that I'm thinking about it, would be pretty cool to give me an entire setting book just on like the Underdark, just Underdark lore for a whole book. Funky ass creatures and subclasses and stuff. I'm down. Don't get me wrong, I'm down. But this sucks. It's not good. It's not good. Radiant Rage. Like, if I'm fine with this being here, but I feel like they need to go the path of Zealot, where they have this, or give us another feature at level 3 that does something else. Literally anything else. And like, I think we might be cooking then, because getting all this this being all you get at level 3 is not great in my on my first impression. And I think that's going to be something I would imagine something that most other people are going to agree with me with, in terms of like people with other videos and stuff. I've not watched anything on any other stuff, but we'll see. To stop harping on that though, level 6, Unlight Revelation. You have proficiency in the perception skill. If you lack it, you also gain expertise in that skill. While your rage is active, you have blind sight with a range equal to the bright light provided by your radiant rage. You know what? Actually, if you gave me this, just move this into level 3 too. If you gave me both of these at level 3, I would not be mad. Like Radiant Rage is kind of whatever, to be honest, but giving me an expertise, I love having expertises. I consistently find a reason to want to pick up skill expert on my characters just to get an expertise of some kind if I don't already have some. Just because I like big number on skills that I want my character to be good at. But also having blind sight within the bright light of your Radiant Rage. Like, if you gave me both of these at level 3, then I think, like, I'd still think Radiant Rage sucks, but I wouldn't be nearly as disappointed, or I guess I wouldn't be nearly as miffed, if you just gave me both of these at level 3, because getting expertise and getting blind sight for out to 20 foot is not that big a deal. In the grand scheme of things, like, you can get a 10-foot blind sight by just picking up a fighting style feat, which you could do at level 1. Which, is it level 1? I think it's level 1. Not for barbarians, but like for the other subclasses. Actually, you know what? Fighting styles might be level 2. Might be misremembering that wrong. And there's not much else to say on this. I mean, I like the idea. I do kind of like the idea, if we're going with when we rage we emit a bunch of light that in an aura. If you're gonna do this, I think definitely, if you don't want to go the path of extra radiant damage, since that's kind of what the Zealot Barbarian does, then maybe make this kind of like a Paladin aura or something. Like, there's some kind of effect for your allies being within your 20-foot bright light as well. Like, maybe, I don't know. I just feel like the Radiant Rage needs something more. And if you give me both of these, and then replace my level 6 feature with some kind of effect for my allies, while they're inside the bright light I shed when I rage, then I think I'd be a little more swayed. But otherwise, not much to say about Unlight Revelation. So we're gonna move on to Infectious Unlight. Damage you deal with Brutal Strike can be radiant or the usual type, your choice. The following effect is now among your Brutal Strike options. I kind of like that idea, giving subclasses more Brutal Strike options. That is a fun thing. Radiant Infection. The target becomes infected with Unlight for 1 minute. While infected, it sheds bright light in a 10-foot radius, and additionally, at the start of each of its turns, the target takes 1d6 radiant damage, and the target takes 1d6 radiant damage. The target makes a Constitution saving throw, DC 8 plus your Strength modifier and proficiency bonus, at the end of each of its turns, pending the effect on. Man, at least it's free, right? Brutal Strike is just something you get to choose whenever you exchange the advantage. So you could consistently do this. It's not costing you anything, but in addition of not costing you anything, it's kind of ass. It's not great either, because what? You make somebody glow in bright light for 1 minute, and they get and they will take a d6 radiant damage at level 10 for 1 minute, and they can save out of it. It doesn't even provide like a guiding bolt effect or anything. Your allies have advantage on them. Yeah, not good. Not good. I just saw this. Level 10 Harbinger of Unlight. You have resistance to radiant damage. At level 10! At level 10! I've been emitting light for 7 levels, and you only now give me resistance to radiant damage. I think we need to move that like up here. Throw that into radiant rage. Like, one, you have resistance to radiant damage because you're infected with light, so like light stuff affects you less, like you're used to it or something. And then you have this, and then you get Unlight Revelation, and then, you know, give me something else at level 6, some other kind of effect that like is buffing my allies or something while they're in semi-bright light. This, sure, Infectious Unlight, like, I don't know what they need to do with this. I love the idea of subclasses giving me more brutal strike options. I do think that's fun. I do think that's fun. Like how the subclasses give the rogues extra different kind of uses of, what is it? Cunning Strike. But this just sucks. It's bad. I make somebody glow and they take a minuscule amount of damage. 1d6 and we're level 10. We're fighting shit that like is gonna a d6 damage a turn. At the start of each of its turns is gonna be, if it fails its saving throw, is just not good enough. It's just not good enough. It's just not enough. And so far, that's kind of my whole thing with this subclass. It's just not enough. Like, it's cool. Like, if we're gonna be a barbarian emitting harmful infectious light, cool. I get it, but like, not good so far. So what else do we get? Level 14, Brilliant Rage. The aura of your Unlight is bolters. While your rage is active, you shed bright light in a 30-foot radius. As a bonus action, you can unleash Blinding Brilliance. When you do, each creature of your choice but within 30 feet of you makes a con save against being blinded, I assume. On a failed save, creature takes 1d12 radiant damage and has the blinding condition until the end of your next turn. On a successful save, that takes half damage only. You can only... Oh, God, this subclass is so sad. This subclass is so fucking sad, man. Like, I don't want to be a downer. Like, I'm usually pretty cool with subclass, like making obscure subclasses work and stuff. Like, I've got a build in my mind for the old Storm Herald that I think would be fun to play. To actually kind of compound on what it does and make it fun for me. But this, what does this barbarian even do? Right? Like, I mean, maybe half of my mind feels like half of this fucking subclass, like every bit of this subclass should be at level fucking 3 or 6. Like, give me Radiant Rage and Unlight Revelation at level 3. Give me Resistance to Radiant Damage at level 3 too. Move Brilliant Rage to level 6 or something, man. Because why would I want to wait, in comparison to the other subclasses, why would I want to play 14 levels of this only to get Bright Light for another 10 feet and being able to blind people if they fail a con save for a Peasley little singular D12 of damage and the blinded condition. And it's one time a long rest. Unless you expend the use of your rage. What the fuck are you guys thinking? Sorry, Wizards of the Coast. I love you. I love your game. Your game is amazing. I'm a fiend. I have to play D&D. I love playing D&D. I love a lot of cool things you can do. Because I know you guys can do cool stuff. Like the Pestilence Cleric from the options was awesome. The Scion playtest, cool stuff. I love the cool stuff that the Scion could do. The Scion subclasses are fucking really cool. They were really, really, really cool. And like you got this whole stuff with the vestige warlock. You got the thing that the demonic sorcerer did, where you like are corrupting a piece of land and scooting it about. But then you make fucking this. Like who? Like what is going on? I know you guys can make cool and potentially strong stuff, but this is bad. The Unlight Barbarian is probably like I'd almost say it might be worse than Storm Herald. And Storm Herald is real bad. Like it's not, Storm Herald's not great because of some issues it has, but this might be worse. I mean, it might not be like as bad if I'm being fair, because at least I get an expertise and free blind sight while I'm raging, I guess. But this Radiant Infection, garbage. Why am I waiting to level 10 to get radiant damage resistance? And why is my 14th level feature only doing 1d12 radiant damage and for the blinded condition, and you can only use it once? What is this? Who designed this? Is this the same person that designed the Pestilence Cleric and the Scion? It better not be. It doesn't read like that. Because it's not good. It's not good, man. Like, it's not even like... It's not even that it's like mid. It's actually bad. Like, come on. Compare that to, like, Berserker. Extra damage. Immune to charm and frightened conditions while I'm raging. Retaliations, whatever. Intimidating presence is also kind of... whatever, but frightened condition is way more useful than blinded, at least. I guess Wild Heart, free spells, options, more options, climb speed, swim speed, dark vision, the level 10 features, kind of whatever. And then Power of the Wilds, fly speed, lion stuff, and, large, small creature to knock them prone. Like, there's good stuff. Even World Tree is like, teleport people to me if they try to go like outside of my 30-foot range. Extra weapon versatility with the heavy, with being able to use 2 weapon mastery things at once, and then I get to teleport up to 60 feet as a bonus action while I'm raging. And like this doesn't have a limit. Like this is cool. I love travel along the tree. Path of Zealot. Like I still wish they kept some of the old Path of Zealot stuff, but extra damage. 1d6 plus half my barbarian devil rounded down. Extra healing for my friends. Once per rage, like I can re-roll a saving throw and add my rage damage bonus. Bonus action, I can buff my whole team with advantage and Rage of the Gods. I can fly, have resistance to necrotic damage and psychic, and then I can keep reviving and blah blah blah, all that stuff. And here we glow, and people take a tiny bit of damage. We have expertise and perception, fair enough, and blind sight, fair enough. We get another brutal strike option that is 1d6 radiant damage, and we make somebody else glow. We have to wait till level 10 to get resistance to radiant damage, where some species just have that. And then our capstone feature is a measly d12 blind once a long rest. Like, come on. Like, I'm trying, like, I don't want to be unfair, I guess, but like I said, I'm looking in my memories, and I'm seeing Pestilence Cleric. Pestilence Cleric is fucking cool. Like, even the other villainous subclasses, even though they have issues, I think they're fucking awesome. Like the Titan Druid has really cool features. They just for some reason cannot balance them worth a damn. They cannot make them good. I don't know what their problem is. Hell Knight Fighter is really cool too. The Hell Knight Fighter's got really interesting stuff going on. But this is just like, is this the same? This can't be the same person that designed those subclasses with those flavor. It can't be. This had to be somebody else, because like this is just not good. Like if you like all of this stuff, I feel like you could give me at level 3, or except for like I guess the thing, but you could give me like you can worm things into Radiant Rage, like if you into Radiant Rage, like once per my Radiant Rage, I can try to blind people with a bonus action, like a couple times, like proficiency bonus a day. I can blind people and make them take a D12, and if they hit me, they take a little bit of damage, and also I shed bright light, and also I have resistance to radiant damage. And like that, you could give all of that to me at level plus perception, expertise, and blind sight within my Radiant Rage aura, and it would still, that would be probably pretty solid for level 3. Like Brilliant Rage, Harbinger of Unlight, Radiant Rage, Unlight Revelation. You gave all of this to me at level 3. Like I would be sitting pretty okay. I could do some interesting things at level 3. If things hit me, they take a little bit of radiant damage. I'm very perceptive and I have blind sight. I have resistance to radiant damage, and like a couple times a day I can try to blind people and make them take a D12 of radiant damage within my area. Like then we would be sitting pretty okay at level 3, and like we could scale that, right? This could be more D12s later or something like that. But like like I said, I'm gonna repeat myself. If you gave me like 90% of this subclass at level 3, I would think it would be okay, pretty okay compared to the other subclasses at level 3. Like I might think it would be good at that rate, because like we can blind people, we got resist radiant damage, we can do an extra little bit of damage. If they hit us, they take a little bit of damage, and then I'd be excited to see what the rest of the subclass does. But like, dear Lord, this is bad. This might be one of the worst subclasses I've seen, or maybe it's me. At this rate, I'm thinking maybe I'm missing something. And point it out in the comments, I guess, if I'm missing something, or if I'm harping on this a little too hard. For some reason, I just feel like this is ridiculous. Like I don't know who designed this. And on the off chance the Wizard of the Coast person that designed this, it just is watching this somehow, I'm sorry. I don't mean to I don't mean to be so judgmental, but I just really love the game, and I really do like barbarians. I like every class. I want like every subclass to have interesting things going on, and I can see the vision. I guess now that I've read the whole subclass, I can see the vision. But I feel like you could give half of it at level 3, and we would be pretty okay for a 3rd level character. We would be pretty alright for a 3rd level character. Like if you worked in Brilliant Rage and Harbinger of Unlight just into Radiant Rage, and then also give us like expertise and blind sight while we were within there, like we would be sitting pretty okay. Like, okay, this is a pretty good fucking 3rd level subclass, or at least pretty interesting. But then what's the rest of the class? But no, this is the whole class. Ugh. I'm gonna get off of it now. Move on. Otherwise, I will continue to yap about that. House Agent Rogue. Outwit your foes with charm and subterfuge. The drow houses of Mesobaranzan conspire against each other in a great game of status and sabotage that expands far beyond the city's limits. When a house needs a specialized tool to further its interests without arousing suspicion, it calls a house agent. Using tools and training of their sponsor, a house agent is a master infiltrator capable of uh, insinuating themselves into their target's life and striking while their target's back is turned. I feel like that's kind of what the assassin does as well, but we'll see. Loyalty test. Each house agent is required to prove their loyalty before their sponsor. Full-fledged memory house. Taking the fall of another person's crime and serving the jail sentence. Assassinating a powerful political figure. Oh yeah, flavor stuff. Using other sponsors. So this rogue is designed to work with the backing of a drow house of Mesobaranzan. A house agent might be anywhere on Earth. On Faerun. Fair enough. Let's see what we get. Level 3 is House Insignia. You get a magical token in the form of a brooch or a coin that marks you as an agent for your sponsor that bears their heraldry. While you have this insignia, you can cast certain spells with it. Charisma is your spellcasting ability for these spells you cast with your insignia. Cantrips, you learn the Friends cantrip. Find Familiar, you can cast the Find Familiar spell, but only as a ritual. The sponsor provides the material component. You're first casting the spell, you must choose the spider form for your familiar. Insignia spells. When you reach a certain level specified in the insignia spells table, you learn the listed spells. Once you cast a spell using the insignia, you can't cast that spell again until you finish a long rest. Okay, so we get friends. We get Find Familiar, only as a spider. For the first cast, you must. We get a spider form for familiar, which is probably one of the better forms, at least for like stealth and stuff. For a rogue. I think spider is pretty fair, especially since it's like drow themed. Yeah, sure, spider. I wouldn't mind that at all. The being limited to spider, because spider is good. Spider is pretty solid. And then we get like once a day use of each of these spells. Charm person, suggestion. Charm person at level 3, suggestion at level 5, and hypnotic pattern at level 9. Okay. And then losing your insignia. If you lose your insignia, your house finds a way to deliver you a new one, whether it's via courier, a magic familiar, teleportation magic, or some other method. Your new insignia is delivered to you when you finish a long rest. So yeah, as long as you have this, you can do all of this stuff. So immediately at level 3, so far, we have Friends and Find Familiar on a rogue. And then we also have Charm Person. Friends, Find Familiar, and Charm Person on a rogue. And one cast Charm Person a day on a rogue. And then Friends cantrip. And we have that's cool. I definitely enjoy having Find Familiar on a rogue. That's pretty awesome. We also get something else at level 3. Charming Presence. You can take the influence action as a bonus action. Additionally, choose one of the following skills: Deception, Intimidation, Performance, or Precision. You have proficiency in that skill. Okay. This doesn't give us much going on in terms of combat. I mean, sorta. I mean, you can use Charm Person and familiar like help actions and stuff in combat. You can do that. And then I guess you can take the influence action as bonus action. Maybe that does something in combat. Hold on. Let me look that up. All right, let's get off of this barbarian stuff. Get off of the barbarian stuff. Hold on. Influence. Influence action. There we go. Does this do anything that I'm missing? Where did it go? Okay. Oh, all right. Where is? Influence action. There it is. Influence action emerge. If you're a repugnant monster to its current life, no ability check is necessary. It doesn't comply. hesitant. Okay, nothing that I'm seeing. So level 3, we do get some neat stuff, cool stuff for out of combat stuff. Friends, find familiar, charm person. Then we eventually get suggestion and hypnotic pattern too. One casts a suggestion and hypnotic pattern. That's pretty interesting. Charming presence, I think, is kind of a whatever, because the influence action doesn't like maybe if you had initiative, but it wasn't quite like a combat properly, maybe then you could make use of this. But I think this is like influence action as a bonus action. It's kind of like, I don't know. There's not many uses I could think of about it. So I feel like maybe we should have another combat thing. Yeah, maybe we add something on to charming presence that allows us to do something else in combat, or how Simnia gives us a little bonus in combat or something or other. But otherwise, this is neat. It's obviously like a more low key, like political intrigue type of subclass, I suppose. So maybe I shouldn't expect like it to be too useful in combat. But we will see. At level 9, we get backstab. You have advantage on attack rolls against creatures within 5 feet of you that are friendly to you or have the charm condition. You also gain the following cunning strike option: stunning betrayal. Costs 46. If your target was friendly to you or had the charm condition when you hit it, the target has the stun condition at the start of your next turn. Until the start of your next turn. Hey! No fucking saving throw. Hey now. That's not bad. That's not terrible. If no saving throw, but they do have to be friendly to you or have the charmed condition. Maybe if we added in something to charming presence to allow us to like charm people some more, like be able to charm people mid combat like a few times a day if they fail a saving throw. Then again, that would just be charm person a few times a day, sort of. Though there is that one feat that they added that, like, when you hit somebody, like Fey influence or something, you hit somebody, you can charm them a few times a day without a saving throw, I think. Huh? Maybe. Yeah, but maybe I might like. Yeah, eventually. Yeah, you're all about. Yeah, okay. Sorry, I'm just kind of like parsing out ideas, parsing out what exactly I think about this, because I do think it's interesting. I do think it is interesting to like want to, be friendly, trying to backstab people mid combat, or maybe bonus actually trying to influence people like in a combat situation, and then to get them to not focus on you, and then the moment their back is turned, being able to stun them and stuff. I think it's cool. Maybe I feel like because this subclass is so like out of combat flavored, that maybe we could do with another feature at level 9 that gives us something else, but whatever. Level 13, Infiltration Partner. The familiar you have through Find Familiar gains dark vision to a range of 120 feet and true sight within a range of 30 feet. Additionally, when you cast a Find Familiar spell or finish a short or long rest while you have the familiar, you can grant your familiar temporary hit points equal to your low rogue level. Yo, honestly, give that to me fucking earlier, bro. True sight is that is pretty cool. You know what? Actually, I think I'd appreciate like doing some more stuff. Like we're a spy rogue. We have a familiar to crawl on walls and be our little like camera in the sky, camera around corners and stuff. I dig that. I feel like maybe if you gave me some more, like another buff to my familiar or something at level 9, and then we got this, I'd really not mind the subclass too much. at all. Well, we also get Silver Tongue. A creature's hostile attitude doesn't impose disadvantage on your charisma checks to influence that creature. Huh. What? Oh, influence checks. Deception. Intimidating a monster, amusing a monster, persuading a monster that understands you. Huh. Maybe there is something. Yeah. Hesitant. If you urge a monster to do something it's hesitant to, you make an ability check that affects the monster's attitude, indifferent, friendly, or hostile, each which is defined in this glossary. Influence checks. DM chooses the check. The default is 15. Oops. Oh, get out of here. I'm gonna cut that shit out. I don't know. Maybe there is something we can do with using the influence action properly more often with this stuff. But I don't know. I do like this. I do like Infiltration Partner. I think is probably my Infiltration Partner and House Insignia so far are my like standout features from this. Backstab's cool. Being able to stun things for free, basically, as long as they are charmed and we hit them. That's pretty much that is pretty interesting. But I really like the idea of Infiltration Partner. Our last feature though is level 17, Subtle Manipulator. You get the following kind of strike option: Confound 5d6. The target must succeed on a Wisdom saving throw equal to your DC, equal to your spellcasting DC, or have a charm condition for 1 minute. The target can repeat this save when it takes any damage, ending the effect of itself on success. Additionally, you can cast the Friend spell as a bonus action. The target no longer automatically succeeds on the saving throw if it isn't a humanoid or you're fighting it. Finally, when a spell you cast that gives the target a charm condition ends, the target doesn't know. Honestly, man, give this to me like earlier, so then we can do stuff. Cause like, is the Friends? What's the Friends cantrip do? Did they update Friends cantrip? Friends. God, I can't spell worth a fuck. Friends. Charm 16 was the same as their charm condition. Target succeeds automatically if it is human you're fighting, or the spell caught. Deal damage. Target knows it was charmed by you. Whatever. I feel like it would be interesting, though. It might be. A house agent might be pretty fucking annoying, though, if you gave that to earlier, because they would constantly be trying to cast friends on everybody all the time. But that would be cool. I don't know. I feel like this subclass is I really like the Find Familiar stuff. I feel like in terms of out of combat, then this subclass does give me some interesting things to work with, but combat wise, there's not a whole lot going on. And I feel like though there is probably some ways to build for charming people. Like there's that one feat. I feel like if you I feel like this subclass actually might not be too bad if you picked up that one feat. Like if you dual wielded like a rapier and a dagger or something, and you hit them first to proc the charm, and then you use your bonus action to come around with the dual wield attack, and then you could pull out back. Then you'd have advantage. And then you could do Stunning Betrayal. I actually think I think I'd want to play this. I think would kind of want to play this. Because it is doing interesting stuff. And don't forget, we get Suggestion and Hypnotic Pattern later. Hypnotic Pattern is a pretty fucking cool spell. You know what? I forgot. We get Hypnotic Pattern in level 9 too. On free cast of Hypnotic Pattern at level 9. On a rogue. That's pretty solid. Because Hypnotic Pattern is a good spell. And this seems to be like a charisma-based kind of rogue, which I would probably want to make some charisma stuff. Huh, yeah. And I also feel like maybe this rogue might work well if you multi-class it with some bard stuff. Because then you get even more expertises, right? And skill stuff. Yeah, no. I kind of dig it. I kind of dig it. All right. Next, we have the Ismarcanist? Ismarcanist? I don't know. Correct me in the comments if I'm saying that poorly. Maybe I should have watched their little video on it. Because I did see they usually put out a video for the Underdark. Anyway, master the secrets of Unlight and the artifacts of ancient Ismaskar. Imaskar. Whatever it is. Ismakarcanists, yeesh, have learned the ancient secrets of deep Imaskar, a once human society through the deepest depths of the Underdark. Though these eldritch shards top of the deep Ismakari have sentient artifacts called the Ismakrana. They have mastered the power of Unlight, a brilliant, destructive, and infectious energy that can be used both to heal and destroy. With this power, the deep Ismakari have launched a war of conquest to bring light to every corner of the Underdark. Each Ismakarnist must decide for themselves whether to aid the conquering armor or use their power against it to preserve the comforting darkness of the world below. So more stuff about Unlight. Learning the secrets of Unlight. Roll on the rail form magic node, there are very few. You can roll on and choose what results of secret Unlight able to inspire who your character learned about this secret magic. Taught by refugee, heard whispers in your dreams in the language you inexplicably understood. You discover written records behind by a long dead Ismakari wizard. You're apprenticed in a deep Ismakari wizard in the depths of the Underdark, but you escaped. You heard rumors of this power from Underdark refugees, then pierced its secrets together through laborious research. A mind flayer gave you the notes salvaged from decent Makari, whose brain the creature had eaten. Hey, whatever mind flayer that is kind of a homie. Anyway, on to actual class features. This seems like a lot. Unlight Adept. You know how to weave Unlight into your damaging spells. When you cast a spell that deals acid, cold, fire, or lightning, or thunder damage, you can change that damage type to radiant. In addition, dim light created by the spells you cast is bright light instead. I don't know how this last part's gonna work into things, but this is actually already pretty interesting, because this is for free. And, you know, radiant damage, I don't think is super highly resisted, so it just gives you some options. Also, like, as a wizard, like, being a light wizard, like, mathematically, like, just, like radiant fireball, radiant lightning bolt, radiant whatever the hell else. Definitely, I like it. Off the bat, though I am partial, I really do love, like, transmutate spell or whatever, that one meta magic. I love the idea of reflavoring, being able to reflavor other spells into other damage types. Like, that is a thing directly I am very biased to. Very, very biased to. So, I will admit that off the bat. Anyway, that's pretty cool. I like that. But we also get Unlight Invigoration at level 3. You can imbue creatures with Unlight drawn from your own energy, making them stronger and fiercer. As a bonus action, choose a willing creature you can see within 30 feet of you and roll 1 or 2 of your hit point die. Those dice that are then expended, the target gains temporary hit points equal to the total rolled plus your intelligence modifier, and until the target has no temporary hit points, it has advantage on strength checks and sheds bright light into in a 10-foot radius. Huh. That is an interesting way to use your hit dice as a wizard. We are a wizard. Our hit dice are a d6, and we can only use 1 or 2. So the temporary hit points is not going to be a ton. I'm trying to condense my thoughts on this, because I do think it is interesting in terms of, like, a design space of, like, understanding what Unlight is and what it does, exchanging some of your life force to bolster somebody else with some, like, with light and better strength checks. Plus, this honestly reads to me as a bit more of a out of combat thing, to be honest with you. Even though against temporary hit points, you're a wizard, man. It's gonna be a D6 plus 5, hopefully, with your intelligence modifier being maxed out. Or 2d6 plus 5. That's not gonna be a whole ton. But being able to freely give somebody advantage on strength checks and shed bright light for as long as they have the temporary hit points, which could be all fucking day for like an out of combat situation, temporary hit points to go away until long rest. That could be all fucking day. So I do kind of like it. I do kind of like it. I wish there was like maybe one more thing on here that could be used, like give you a reason to want to use this in combat other than the temporary hit points, which let me tell you are not fucking uncommon nowadays. Everything gives you temporary hit points. Every other subclass can dish out temporary hit points to people. So of like use sources of temporary hit points, this one is not the best one. But advantage on strength checks and shedding bright light in 10-foot radius, making somebody like a living torch, maybe it has potential uses outside of combat. But I would probably enjoy the subclass just because of this, being like a light wizard. That would be interesting. Moving on to level 6, we get Unlight Restoration. You can wield the restorative effects of Unlight as to heal injuries or remove harmful effects. As a bonus action, choose a creature you can see within 30 feet of you. Roll 1 or 2 of your hit point dice. Those dice are expended. The target regains hit points equal to the total rolled and sheds bright light in a 10-foot radius until the end of its next turn. If you expend 2 hit point dice, you can choose to end one of those following conditions on the target: blinded, deafened, paralyzed, or poison. If you do, the target does not regain hit points. Okay, that's level 10. Man, this is really hampered by I'm a wizard, and so my hit dice are going to be a D6. Like, we don't even get our intelligence modifier on the healing. Like, there's definitely going to be better ways to want to use your healing. However, in an emergency situation, being able to have an option to cure these conditions isn't like a bad idea. Isn't bad per se. But I feel like we should. I don't know. I'm pretty biased against using my temporary hit points for fucking anything beyond like healing on a short rest, because I'm just always grubby like that. I just like always like, but what if I need these temporary hit points to heal on a short rest later? Even though, I've gone the entire campaign and we've barely taken any short rests because we're a little bit more narrative. And we haven't really gotten into combat today at all. But, is what it is. I mean, it's interesting. I understand that Unlight expends, you're expending life force to assist your allies and stuff. I feel like it's cool. It's cool. It's okay. It's okay. I mean, we're still a wizard, and we still can radiant the shit out of anybody. So on a baseline, it's all right that it's okay, a little mild mid, I suppose. Level 10, Secrets of Deep Iskemar. Imaskar. Sorry, I don't know why I say that word. Your research into the insides of Ismarcana grants you the following benefits. Ismarcanan lore, you can tune yourself to one magic item as a magic item. Once you use this feature, you can't do so until you finish a long rest. Oh, okay. I see. You can quick attune to things. Piercing Light. Your spells ignore resistance to radiant damage. That's pretty good. Unlike resistance, you gain resistance to radiant damage. I would say that I would like resistance to radiant damage earlier. To be fair to the barbarian subclass. However, this shit is generally more interesting. I'm willing, and we're a wizard, so ideally we shouldn't be in fucking combat anyway. For a barbarian, we're gonna be in the thick of it, right? So I prefer damage resistance is to be earlier on that class. Anyway, Maskar Seals. You always have the Glyph of Warding spell prepared, and you can cast it once without a spell slot. When you cast the spell in this way, you don't need a material component. Don't need material components. You cast the spell if using the spell slot equal to the highest wizard spell slot you have. Any previous glyph you created this way is broken, and the spell ends without being triggered. You gain the ability to cast Glyph of Warning this way until when you finish a long rest. So we get a free Glyph of Warding. Let me double check, because doesn't it take time? Glyph. Sorry, I'm horrible at spelling anything. Glyph of Warding. Yeah, casting time is an hour. I mean, Glyph of Warding is an interesting spell. You can do a lot of cool things with it, and the fact that we get one for free every day with our highest level spell slot. And it's our highest level spell slot that we have. So theoretically, all the way up to 9th level, we have a once per day 9th level Glyph of Warding. Hey man, I think there's definitely some stuff that we could do. There's definitely some stuff we could do for that. I mean, even at that rate, like, you know, if you're taking a long rest out in the wild, you can spend an hour to set a glyph somewhere, and do some cool stuff. I think it's interesting. I like Ismar. Overall, I think this is a pretty interesting feature. We can attune to things as a magic action once per long rest. Little strange on that one, but you know, could be some interesting stuff we could do, like swapping what we're attuned to, like mid combat or something, if we needed to. And then a free cast of Glyph of Warding without material components and with the highest spell slot we have access to at the time. I think there's potential there with all the things that Glyph of Warding does, because this is a pretty complex spell. You can do a lot of creative stuff with Glyph of Warding. I like it. I like it. Last feature, Doom of Unlight. You can curse your enemies with corrosive unlight, and the only escape from the curse is physical violence or an explosive death. When a creature takes radiant damage from a spell you cast, you can take your reaction to curse the creature with Unlight. The creature makes a Constitution save against your spell save DC. On a failure, the creature is cursed until the curse ends. The target suffers the following effects. The target emits bright light in a 20-foot radius. The attack rolls against the target have advantage. At the start of each of the target's turn, it takes radiant damage equal to your character level. The target has advantage on strength checks and melee attack rolls. If the target hits another creature with a melee attack roll, the target can repeat the Constitution save, ending the curse on a success. If the target is reduced to 0 hit points, it explodes. Roll a number of d8s equal to half your character level. Creatures in a 10-foot animation centered on the target make radiant damage equal to the This is so fucking weird. Once you have attempted to curse a creature using the spell, you don't gain so until you finish a long rest or expend a 6th level plus spell slot. That is strange. So they get advantage on strength checks and melee attack rolls. If it hits another creature with a melee attack roll, it can repeat its Constitution save, ending this curse on a success. But if they don't, and you're able to kill them before that happens, they will fucking explode. You know, I do think the feature has some issues, because, like, you know, the curse buffs they're taking damage against radiant damage. I guess if they don't or can't attack anybody. Oh, hey. All right, okay, I think I'm getting it. I mean, it does buff them attacking things. And if they attack stuff, they have a chance to end the effect, end the curse. However, You're a spellcaster. We're level 14. Supposedly, we have an entire party level 14 with us. If you could lock something down where it couldn't attack anybody, or at least like it's probably not going to hit somebody, whoever it's attacking, then that would be pretty interesting, because then they're just going to take 20 radiant damage at the start of each of its turns, and everybody has advantage attacking it, as long as you can figure out a way to reduce its chance to hit somebody. Then like this could be a pretty interesting effect. And then it explodes, so you know, you might want to be careful with your melee people. I think it's an interesting feature. I think you're gonna want to be very careful with it, because it does buff them strength checks and melee attack rolls. And then if they're too close to a party member, they explode for a not small amount of damage. 10 d8. Not tiny amount of damage. They do have to fail a con save, though. And con saves are pretty common and well resisted, because a lot of creatures have a good constitution score. But yeah, then we can use it again if we use a 6th level spell. Cool. Overall, I think I'm very interested in House Agent Rogue. I love the idea of having my little spider drone, basically, that I can use for infiltration and stuff, by constantly like swapping and unswapping my sight from it to see around corners, or to see through under doors and stuff like that. I like the idea. I like the Ismercanus wizard, because I like this feature. I love features that let me swap damage of spells. So that allows me to take some other spells that I normally wouldn't, because their damage type kind of sucks, or the spell kind of sucks. But then I could change the radiant damage and have it be cool. Plus, Secrets of Deep Iskamar and Doom of Unlight are interesting. These are kind of strange. Like, I feel like this is kind of an emergency stuff. I mean, at the end of the day, you're a wizard, bro. So your subclass features, like most of your class is casting the spells. So if your subclass features are a little finicky, I suppose it's all right. Plus, this is a good backup. It's never gonna hurt to have the ability to cure some of these conditions down here. But dear God, like these other subclasses are interesting, and they have some interesting things going on in terms of their design. But then there's just Path of Unlight Barbarian, and this sucks so bad. It sucks so bad. It's not good. It doesn't scale. This doesn't barely scales at all. It's not great, man. It's not great. So somebody definitely needs to redo Path of Unlight almost entirely. House Agent, I think, could use some touch-ups to have it be able to do some stuff in combat, you know? Though I can't think of the build with that one feat that might be that could be pretty good. Ismercanus Wizard, I think it's probably fine. I think like you could put this out and it would be all right. I would probably play one, because being lizard that does radiant damage is interesting. If there's one thing, I think maybe we could give a little more to the two of these features, because your wizard hit dice is only a d6, so it's not going to be a lot of healing, and it's not going to be a lot of temporary hit points. So I think like, because it's going to be a pretty minuscule amount of either of those, that you could give it a little more, and this subclass wouldn't be too powerful. Oh, again, also, I do love a free Glyph of Warding with my highest level spell slot with no material components once per day. I feel like I could find some interesting stuff to do with that. I could definitely find some interesting things to do with that. But that is not all. We also have the Path of Ceramorphosis here. So we are going to take a look at that. It should, as far as I'm aware, this is the process of becoming a mind flayer, elder bro control, and so we get a tadpole. From tadpole to transformation, Ceramorphosis, particularly parasitic relationship. They have a body, resulting mind flayer, blah blah blah. It cures quickly. The path of becoming a flayer is different from traditional. But your path of becoming a mind flayer is different from traditional methods. As you take feats along this path, imagine what it might look like every stage of the process. Yeah, right. So there's figured out the why you're not immediately turning into a mind flayer. And then you have the elder brain that might be controlling you or communicating with you. But overall, this is like the Lich thing. It's like the Death Knight thing, except you're becoming a mind flayer. So, I'm curious to see what this path of feats does. I'm very curious. So, first, we naturally have Tadpole Host. Path of Ceramorphosis feat, prerequisite, level 4. You begin a symbiotic relationship with the Mind Flayer tadpole in your body. You gain the following benefits. Oh my god, playing Path of Ceramorphosis and also the Scion once it comes out? Peak. That would be an interesting character. Anyway, your ability score increased, your intelligence increased to a maximum to 1, maximum of 20. We get the Mind Sliver cantrip for free. Psionic power. You have a wellspring of psionic energy provided to you by your tadpole, represented by psionic energy dice, which fuel powers you have from this feat path. You have a number of psionic energy dice equal to your proficiency bonus. When you take this feat, your psionic energy die is a d6. The die changes when you take feats along the path of Ceramorphosis. Any features in this feat path that use a psionic energy die use only the dice from this feat path. Some of your features expend psionic energy dice, as specified in the feature's description, and you can't use this feature if it requires you to use the die when all your psionic energy die are expended. You gain all expended psionic energy dice when you finish a long rest. And then the only thing we get immediately here is Psionic Overload. When you deal psychic damage, you can expend a psionic energy die to roll the die and add extra psionic damage equal to the number rolled. So this would really depend on what class you're playing. I feel like this is like tailor-made to be the Scion. I mean, you get Mind Sliver, so you could use this with Mind Sliver, but you'd really have to be on the lookout for doing psychic damage to make this work. So again, supposedly whatever book this Underdark stuff is going to come out in is going to be after Dark Sun at the early next year. So if you wanted to do this path, I would personally recommend probably the Scion once it gets out, because that's the psychic class, and then your Mind Flayer stuff. So it would just like thematically make sense. And then I kind of wish there was more stuff to do with the psionic energy dice, like off the bat. Like maybe when you deal damage in general, you can add a little bit of extra psychic damage, not just psionic damage, and do extra damage. Maybe that would make me feel a little bit better about it. But moving on, we have Illithid Thrallmaker, Path of Ceramorphosis feat, prerequisite Tadpole Host feat. You have honed your psionic ability to become Master Manipulator. You gain the following benefits. You can increase your intelligence or your charisma score by 1. Psionic energy dice. The psionic energy die granted you by this feat path becomes d8. Telepathy. You have telepathy within a range of 10 feet. If you already have telepathy, your range increases to 10 feet. Cool. And then Persuasive Presence. You always have Charm Person spell prepared. Your intelligence is a spellcasting modifier for this spell. You can cast it without expending a spell slot by expending psionic energy dice. You can also cast it by using any spell slots you have. When you spend a psionic energy die to cast a spell, roll the expanded die. One target of the spell subtracts half the number rolled and rounded up from its saving throw against the spell. Fair enough, I suppose. I mean, I probably would take this one. Just getting a bunch of Charm Persons. Yeah, I suppose. I mean, it's fine. You get telepathy, only at 10 feet though, which is kind of meh. I feel like if we're for Illithid Thrallmaker, we could have something a little neater. Granted, this is like, you could take this at earliest level 6 if you're a fighter. For whatever reason you'd want to take this as a fighter. Oh, you could play. You could be a Psy-Knight, a Psychic Knight, Mind Flayer. Ooh, actually, that is pretty. That's a pretty good idea. Thank you, brain. Thank you. Or you could be the soul knife as a rogue. Thank you, brain. Thank you, brain, for ideas. Let's move on to Tadpole's Safeguard. Path of Ceramorphosis feat. Tadpole host feat. Your tadpole has vested interest in protecting its shell while it incubates. You have the following benefits: increase your constitution or intelligence by max level 20. Become a D8, so you get telepathy up to 10 feet. So it seems like these intermediate feats are always going to give it. Oh, and then if we take more of them, I see. Warding backlash. You always have the shield spell prepared. Hey, that's pretty good. Intelligence is your spellcasting modifier for the spell. You can cast it without expending a spell slot by expending psionic energy die. You can also cast a spell with any spell slots you have. When you expend a psionic energy die to cast a spell and cause the triggering attack to miss, roll a psionic energy die. The attacker takes psychic damage equal to the number rolled. Meh. In terms of like the taking the psychic backlash, because it's only a D8. It's only a D8. But however, always having shield prepared and having like proficiency bonus times a day castings of it, that is actually pretty interesting. Like, I would take that. I'll look at Illithid. I'll look at this whatever this thing is in a second, but that is currently the front runner because shield is good on everybody. Shield, except for a barbarian, I guess. You probably wouldn't want to take this as barbarian because you can't cast spells while you're raging. But pretty interesting. Getting the shield a couple times a day, definitely good. Moving on to Illithard's Might. The tadpole you ingested is mutating you into an Illithard, a rare type of Illithid that boasts great physical strength and mental power, as well as 2 additional tentacles. Okay. Strength, dexterity, or constitution by 1. Oh, let's see. So it's like if you're a martial person. I get it. Become a D8's telepathy, expended tentacles. 2 long tentacles sprout from around your mouth. You can use these tentacles to make unarmed strike. When you're with it, using this tentacle, your reach increases by 5 feet. So this reads like maybe you'd want to be a monk. You'd probably want to be a monk if you're taking this, because otherwise, or a fighter with the unarmed fighting style feat, I guess. I feel like there could be something that's a little more interesting, because again, you can only use the psychic energy die whenever we deal psychic damage. Whenever we deal psychic damage of some kind. So, I mean, you could do that with, now that I think about it, you could do that with, you could do it with, Soul Knife and the Psy Warrior. And then maybe there might be some other things that let you do psychic damage on among other subclasses. But otherwise, I think maybe they need to give these tentacles a little extra. Because just, you can make unarmed strikes and their reach increases by 10 feet. Not inherently useful for a lot of people, for a lot of things. But we'll see, I don't know. Level 12 prerequisite, at least 2 Path of Ceramorphosis feats. So we would at minimum need Tadpole Host and 1 of these to be, and then be level 12 plus to take full Ceramorphosis. So you grow 4 long tentacles around your mouth, your head elongates, and your skin becomes purple, slick with mucus. Your transformation into a Mind Flayer is complete. Gain the following benefits. Your base score increases your intelligence score to a maximum of 20. You have your psychic energy diets become D10s. If they're already D10s, instead become D8s. How would they be D10s? or D12s? How would they already be D12s? Oh, I see. It's repeatable. I see. So if you took this again, they would become D12s. I see. Your creature type is now aberration. You excel at particular illicit talent. Choose one of the following benefits. Brain-seeking tentacles. When you hit a creature with an arm strike as part of an attack action on your turn, you can use both damage and grapple option. You can spend psionic energy die when you use this benefit to roll the expended die. Target takes psychic damage equal to the number rolled plus your intelligence modifier, and it subtracts half the number rounded up from its saving throw to avoid gaining the grappled condition. If the target is reduced to 0 hit points as a result of this benefit, the psionic energy die isn't expended. You can use this benefit only once per turn. I see. I mean, that's not a lot of... It's only one, right? Yeah, it's only one psionic energy die. Plus your intelligence modifier. So it's not a lot. Mind Flare spells. Or you could pick Mind Flare spells. You always have Detect Thoughts, Levitate, and Mind Blast spells prepared. The intelligence is your spellcasting ability for these spells. You can cast these spells without expending a spell slot to expending psionic energy die. If you can also cast these spells using any spell slots that you have. And then we have Mind Blast, Full Zero Mind Blast, 6th level evocation, Scion. Unless you concussive force of psychic energy, each creature in the 60-foot cone, originating for you, takes 68 psychic damage and are stunned. Fair enough. Then you can repeat this to take the brain-seeking tentacles, I suppose. Overall, I like having the psychic dice, psionic energy dice. I wish the base Tadpole Host feature gave you, at least this was a little more, you had a little more leeway to use this, because otherwise, this kind of only works with certain subclasses, right? It only really works if you're a Scion, because you're going to be doing a lot of psychic damage as a Scion, or some kind of spellcaster that you would have to take psychic spells that do psychic damage, or you are a monk because you have some stuff that works with unarmed strikes, or you're either a Psy Warrior, I think that's what it's called, or the Soul Knife, which also does psychic damage with the Summoned Blades rogue stuff. So, I mean, overall, I feel like all of these could be a little better, because you're becoming a Mind Flayer. Having shield all the time is pretty good. I definitely would probably prioritize this, because this is whatever, and I personally don't care about charming people too much. So I would definitely probably pick up shield, a bunch of free cast of shield spell that I might not have, depending on the class that I'm playing. I think that's definitely pretty good. Overall thoughts. Like, I shared my thoughts on the subclasses already. I love the new path things that they're doing. I hope that they do more stuff like this for some like good aligned things as well. Like if you want to become an angel or something. Or something or other. Or if they want to do like Path of the Lycan or something, where you could do some werewolf stuff. But overall, I like the idea. I feel like if they honed it in a bit, then this could be good. Especially if I feel like they need to kind of rework how the tentacles function and make them do some extra damage or something. Because otherwise, they'd probably only be really useful if you're playing a monk or something, I think. Anyway. All that stuff aside, I always love doing D&D stuff, talking about D&D stuff. So I appreciate anybody who has sat there with me as I ranted about the Barbarian for probably way too long. Psionic becoming a Mind Flayer, that sounds fun. Otherwise, I think that'll be it for me today on this video. So if you like what you saw, then, like, subscribe, do all that cool stuff. I'm on my path to trying to, work from home, be able to do voice acting and content creation full time instead of, having to slave away at a day job. But and in that means, if you like talking to me or like the idea of being able to bug me anytime, feel free to join my Discord server, which you will see in the description below. And if you want to, and between doing D&D stuff, granted, the end of this year is gonna be pretty busy because I'll have Arcana Unleashed and the fucking World of Warcraft book to go through, and that'll be interesting. But in between playing a bunch of D&D, in between making D&D videos, I play video games every Tuesday. Stream them. Feel free to watch the streams or hang out or come visit and hang out. I'm pretty close to Twitch affiliate, if I remember. I think I just need, a certain amount of streams, a certain number of people dropping by consistently, and then I could start making money that way. So that would be helpful if you ever want to hang out. Ask me some questions on stream. If you want to support me monetarily in any way, I do have my Ko-Fi down below as well. But I'll make things work. Whatever gets me to being able to work from home the fastest. Anyway, I hope you guys have a good day, good night, good time zone, whatever you're in. And I'll see you guys next time. Probably pretty soon. Actually, in the next couple weeks, because I'll pre-order Arcana Unleashed and have it, I think, pretty early in the month. I don't know. You'll see me whenever that happens. Anyway, later, guys. Have a good day. Night, time zone. I repeated myself. Just end the video, you damn it.